Good morning, everybody. So where we left was how to use the progress tracker. Allows you to communicate to employees progress. That's the number one thing. Why they don't like their job, why they quit their job is no one is telling them their progress. They don't know their progress until perhaps 6 months later or perhaps a year later. And then they can't do anything about it because things are brought up from back in February or back in March. Here we are in November, and I'm not told early enough how I can impact my salary, how I can impact my pay. And then I'm told, look, we've made some decisions. You're only going to get a 45 cent an hour increase, or you're not going to get your raise because you're not performing well. And yet no one sat down with me to tell me all that. Now, what eventually happens is this cat and mouse passive aggressive thing like this. Ready? This is the one I hear the most. But Austin, you knew this. We've been talking with you about this. And the person can honestly say this. No, you haven't. It's just that they don't have the guts to say that because they know they're in a subservient position. But man, I have been in so many reviews in which the manager is trying to persuade employee of, yeah, we have been talking that we've been, remember the last time we had this? And then what happens is the employee's put in a position to have to just grab for straws and say, wait, yeah, I knew we were talking about that, but I didn't think it was going to impact my performance pay. And so we eventually end up having the conversation there at that performance review where decisions have been made about my pay, my future, my next 6 months. And we're now having the conversation that we could have been having all along in short segments once every 2 weeks so that we don't have to have the tough conversation later when there's nothing I can do about it except create suspicion between me and the employee. So the progress tracker is the tool that makes it possible for you to have a simple, consistent, methodical instrument. You have to use it. It's right here where the next group of athletes falls apart. The first group of athletes, yes, I know how to do this. I'm going to run with this ball. I'm going to make a touchdown. I'm going to make a first down, and we're going to grow. We're going to progress. We're going to win this game. And so you have the ball. Let's call the ball the progress tracker, the tool. And no sooner do you start trying to use tool, you get tackled. And then you get back up, and now it's no longer first down. Now you're up to 3 and 12. And you're realizing, can't seem to make this tool's not working for me. And so we tend to drop the tool because we're constantly getting tackled. The busyness of life, the busyness of work. This department wants this. My boss wants that. But no sooner do I say another department wants this. Your supervisor wants that. The reality of life tackles you. And then you cannot make any progress as much as you want to because your time management gets shot out the window. And that is the reality of life. That is just, it comes with the territory. If you want to play golf and there's no sand traps, if you want to play football and there's no tackling, you're just playing flag football. But the reality of life is that it comes with the territory. It is incredibly difficult for you to work your way through the field and make it to the first down and make it to the touchdown. It's a real difficult thing to make it all the way to the end in any one given week because you no longer are organized. You start your week organized, and no sooner do you just blink twice. It is now Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon, and you have gotten nothing done. But yet you look at the amount of stuff you do, and you're certainly busy. And not with twiddledings, insignificant things. You're busy with real life work. It's just hitting you all over the place because it's just the nature of life. It's the nature of business. And if you're not able to get past that, you're never going to find the time to sit down with your employee and go over their performance and coach them and discuss what their challenges are, where you need to train them, listen to their issues, talk about the things that we need to discuss that are coming up. Hey, what are you working on? There's no place where I can delegate. There's no place where I can mentor, help, assist, coach. I said, why? Because we're so busy. We're doing a lot. We're accomplishing a lot, but I'm not doing the number one thing that I as a supervisor need to do, and that is sit down with my employees, go over their performance, delegate tasks to them, make sure they're performing well, and we're connecting on a weekly, at least bi-weekly basis.
In the healthcare setting that we're currently working in, changes are continuous. Just recently, I had to make 47 schedule changes, which affected a ton of patients. So some of the things that were priority are no longer priority. I'm meeting with some employees almost on a daily basis, and I definitely see change around. I do have an open position that I previously did not have. You either manage up or you manage out, unfortunately.
I think I've worked probably 80 hours for the past 2 weeks.
The number one thing we have to manage is our time. It's the priorities of what we're going to try to accomplish and blocking and tackle and protecting those things that we're supposed to be doing. And that is ultimately the problem that we all tend to have. We don't know how to protect our priorities. We don't know how to protect and communicate to others. Yeah, let me get back with you because and then you do that. You negotiate interruptions. You negotiate others trying to creep into your time because we tend to want to say yes, and we don't know how to respectfully say, just to respectfully protect our time. For example, right now I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys till 8 o'clock. What has to happen for me to get pulled from this and for me to be distracted and pulled in 15 different directions? It would have to be so drastic. And if I don't train myself to be governed by my schedule and regularly looking at it and checking in with my schedule before I say yes or no, others will not be trained to my schedule. The level of time management and time interruptions that we allow in our life is a reflection of how much we're able to say yes or no, or let me get back with you. Can we talk about this? In other words, negotiating your time, because you've got to protect your time. And now when I do this, I'm looking at my cell phone and my schedule. Early in my career, thankfully, somebody taught me that. I learned how to walk around always referring to my clock, to my schedule, to my to-do list. I'm looking at my clock. I can do that at 3:30. I'll have it to you by 4:15. And see that right there, that negotiating. And it doesn't matter whether it's your boss. And of course, you're going to want to open up more time and put more urgency when it's higher chain of command people coming to you. But if you're always saying yes, you're training people to constantly interrupt. You're training people that your priorities and responsibilities aren't as important as what they want. And if you're constantly saying yes to that, you're negotiating away things that you should be doing. So what's going to happen is someone's going to need something and you're accustomed to saying yes, but you know that tomorrow I'm going to have my one-on-one with Thomas, and we have that every Wednesday afternoon, and I'm going to have to call Thomas and say, hey, Thomas, can we push back our one-on-one till 3 o'clock? That right there creates an enormous amount of damage because now Thomas knows he just got bumped off. So what's Thomas going to say? No, hey, Maurice, my time with you is really important. I know that if you don't do it by on Wednesday, I'm not going to see you and I got to talk to you about certain things. No, Thomas is going to say, sure, man, no problem. Now, yes, guys, and once in a while, it's fine. But then what's probably going to happen next Wednesday? And then what am I going to do to Crystal on Thursday when it's my time to one-on-one with her? If I can't stop one major interruption, then I'm not going to be able to stop the next major interruption. And the ones who suffer are the ones dependent on us because we have more influence in bumping off our one-on-ones with them as a byproduct, as the domino effect, the fact that I got bumped by somebody above me.
I try to protect those one-on-ones. They're very important. It gives you the mindset of employee and potentially issues that you may go down the road that may be coming up down the road. I do have a peer who will just pop in at any time. So now I said, hey, can we set aside 30 minutes on the calendar? Can me they have?
See, I have a peer that comes and talks to me all the time. It's on and off. It's inconsistent. Most of the time it's needed. Fantastic, powerful technique. And that is you remove the randomness from it. So what you do is you set up a routine. You set up a rhythm and you say, let's talk once every week. And then you determine and you gauge that like an accordion. You increase it if you have to. Let's do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Or you decrease it. So you start with a routine. You put moons and satellites around it called email discussions, but it's governed by that minute routine, by that rhythm. And then you allow those 30 minutes to govern that conversation. And so you want to set up rhythms with others, just like you would set up rhythms with your one-on-ones, with your employee and with your supervisor. Rhythm, cadence, that's the way of life. The sun comes up on the east, usually around 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. It goes in the west, somewhere to around 6 o'clock. We are governed by patterns of nature called time cycles. But yet at work, we tend to rotate around randomness and reaction. What we're covering is the idea and the discipline of routine and rhythm so that I protect those conversations and those discussions that I must have. Is my one-on-one with my employees, my one-on-one with my supervisor, my one-on-one with those key meetings with Crystal just talked about, my perhaps daily huddle. And you're sitting there going, Maurice, you just said a lot of meetings. I actually said a total of 445 minutes. Let's just round it up. It's 100 minutes. It's a total of 7 hours a week. So you basically are going to take 7 to 8 hours a week and you're going to spread it out through your calendar in a routine so that you make sure those stopping point is where you are connecting, you're communicating, delegating, and you're praising. And if you don't have time for that, you're not managing yourself, you're not managing your team. And a lot of that work is going to come back and backwash on you because you're not delegating it out and you're not connecting with folks. You're not aligning priorities with folks. You're just letting everything hit now. And so you're going to overwhelm yourself with now when really this item right here that's going to take 3 hours, you know what? I should talk to Lab and see if perhaps I can do that Tuesday of next week because I got a lot of other things. So you see, you take it upon yourself. No, it's got to be down.
I love it. I'm trying to sit back just to absorb it and let other people share. But this is something that I've had to really develop in my career. I struggled with it at first. I actually embraced the randomness and enjoyed that. And that was my mentality. And now I'm realizing it's constant. I call it like time triage, the constant prioritization. Yes. And every time you say that yes to someone, whatever's not the priority in the moment, you're really saying no to what's important.
Correct.
I've had to just flip that mindset. It's a game changer.
And I've had good supervisors say, look, Jim, it sounds like we can talk about this, but can we do it at this time? They've shared their calendar with me and said, find something in there. And that's when I'm free. That's when we can talk. And I've appreciated that.
I heard somebody say a couple of years ago, we really don't manage anything else other than our time. Everything else is just an illusion and a distraction. I'm going, man, you're right. Because time doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. It is the one governing thing that we are all dependent on, whether we like it or not. And so if we don't get ahead of that and we don't manage the priorities and the projects and the people, it's all based on time. SMART goals are based on time. S and T, specific goals on a timely basis.